Institutions of higher learning are like boats in a storm. They crash a lot. I'm not talking strictly financially, but morally, ethically, and crazily as well. Catholic institutions, on the other hand, also crash a lot. If you have ever lived in a town with a large college, you'd know that there is something different about them. It's like that moment you take a bite of your Ben & Jerry's ice cream sandwich and wonder if you're going to get a brain freeze or if your teeth will be sensitive to the cold. And then one or the other happens. Well, actually, it's not quite like that, because when a college goes bad, you would need to amputate and cut it out of your community before the virus spreads. Unfortunately, there are 0 cases at this point of a full recovery after a college or university goes bad. Now, at this point, I've been throwing around a lot of metaphors and similes like I'm Michael Jordan, but you probably don't know the specific thing that I'm talking about. See, somewhere in the heart of the Midwest, there is a Catholic institution of higher learning that decided to give the middle finger to the Catholic Church. Actually, there was a whole agreement between multiple Catholic institutions that agreed upon this course of action. This was called the Land O'Lakes Statement. The university that I am referencing is Notre Dame. Notre Dame is like the King Henry of Catholic institutions, and every other Catholic institution that was in on the statement was like the royals, who are all yes men to him. Now, the statement actually says that they will teach what they want, even if it goes against Catholicism. So, in theory, they might not teach anything that goes against Catholicism, and as a rational human being, I will admit that freedom of speech is a fundamental human right. But if you're teaching something that goes against Catholicism, do you not think you should drop the Catholicity from your campus? Quit pretending? But let me see what I can see about their so-called Catholicism. Well, we have a theology teacher who says that the early saints and martyrs were made up by the church. That's special. But besides the person who doesn't believe in any history before the 1930s, we also have people within the university talking about how good the spiritual life is. Cool story, bro. Do you have any facts to go along with that story? I mean, besides the casseroles you throw at the women who get pregnant? See, I have known several people whose kids went off to college at Notre Dame and came back atheists. They did the exact opposite of what they were supposed to. But let's get back onto the subject of Catholic institutions as a whole. The Land O'Lakes Statement is, to some, considered something to change Catholic education forever, usually said in a positive light, but that is as incorrect as the day is 24 hours long. It doesn't change Catholic education forever, it changes Catholic education into non-Catholic education. I mean, there's nothing wrong with not being educated in a Catholic way, but I don't pretend that I got an associate's degree when I actually got a Bachelor of Arts. And in theory, they wouldn't teach anything that goes against Catholicism, except for the fact that they have. But the problem is that it dumbs down the education and causes people to think that education and faith are altogether different and should be separated. Going back to the prior example, Candida... Can I call you Candida? Okay then, Miss Moss here seems to be under the influence of some powerful drugs, causing her to think that any source that comes from the mouth of a faithful Catholic must be immediately disqualified, because they are not historians and couldn't possibly have studied anything besides the Bible, whereas Miss Moss probably gets her history from Assassin's Creed. The problem here is that for most of human history, those with the time to study were the ones studying. Typically the people who had the time and skill to write a sermon every week. You know, those people. Now, some may say that because the 4 Gospels were so different in recounting the story of Jesus, they must have been incorrect. And these people are right. All 4 of them are probably incorrect. But let me ask you this. Have you ever been able to give a full account of an entire year of your life? No? Me neither. We are all humans and are in possession of weak human brains, which are like mush in the hands of time. It is entirely possible that none of the Gospels truly accurately described the life of Jesus beat by beat, and that's okay. I have tried to write a story based around a week of my life and ended up scrapping the whole thing because it was too difficult. In conclusion, institutions are terrible, no good, and awful. Catholic institutions need to slow their roll, and Candida Moss needs to send me her digits. I'd buy her a nice dinner and only try to convert her after the 3rd date.